So the problem we've got is connectivity for a start into the port, right? And in retail terms, you're talking about the last sort of 50 yards. But the last part from Switch Island to Dunningsbridge Road is only a few miles, but it's almost impassable. It's going to take another 5, maybe 6 years before that could be dual carriage. You know. So what is the problem with that, Pete? Is it bureaucracy? Is it government? Is it what?
Two things, and John will know this. There's a disconnect. When the railway was sold off, the freight companies were treated very differently. So the freight companies were given the infrastructure. So the yards were actually given to the infrastructure, the freight companies. So if you got certain freight logistic places like Crewe belonged to one person and another. Well, if you own the rights to Crewe, you want to look after your rights. It doesn't suit you to have every haulier coming into your patch because it's your patch. So, and we have to now take back that attitude and say, no, freight yards have got to be a national capacity issue. Can't belong to any one company because everybody has got to have the right to go in.
So this is a political stance, isn't it really?
It's a historical problem from privatisation.
It is. John, how are we going to get over that?
Well, as it's just been said now, first of all, the railways were always private, and then they came back when they were bust in the war. After the war, it had to be taken in the public sector, or it was going to collapse. Nobody could actually fund it. That we've now gone to not so much the infrastructure, but certainly the trains. The real point is you need to plan. You need to have a strategic plan. There isn't any country in Europe. And one of the problems in Britain is the word planning became a kind of ideological word. You know, we were for planning, the previous people are not there for the market, and at the end of the day, we end up wanting to avoid that work. Though I see it's come back, the government now talk about national plan. And they used to talk about that a long time ago, but you need a regional body. You've got to look at the land. By the way, it's the same for housing, but leaving that aside at the moment, you need a regional dimension to it. And then, of course, you may well be in compulsory powers if you have to get it together. It's the only way we'll get the integration. But let me just give you the one example. I was talking to the Camden Authority down yesterday in the House. What's their complaint? Well, their complaint is that they've got Euston and King's Cross. Network Rail are running those. HS2 has come for another station that won't be anywhere near those two. And the one now for Crossrail will neither have it. So they've got different stations, not even connected, in London, in the one area. When the whole business, what they're complaining about, they've all got their own land and they won't sell to each other. And whatever land they've got from the allocation, they can't even plan a housing policy or a development. And it may come up later. I think that's one of the reasons, or one of many, why we should begin to say that the HS2 should start in the north and not in the south. It's too delayed, it's too difficult, and we're going to have it in 10 or 15 years before you get anything really done in the north.